Welcome to Bible Time with Aunt Cat. This is where we talk about real people we read about in God's Word, the Bible. And all of His Word is true because God cannot lie. The Bible verses we use today will be shared at the end of the video. Before we get into our lesson, let me tell you a little background. You might remember that God gave Moses the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai. But the first time Moses came down the mountain, the Israelites had already turned away from God. They had built a golden calf and they were worshiping it. And Moses was heartbroken and he was angry. And he broke the stone tablets that had the commandments on it. So he went back up the mountain, and that's when God gave him the commandments the second time. And this time, Moses stayed up there for 40 days and 40 nights talking with God. And that's where today's events pick up. So let's take a look at what happened next. When Moses came down from Mount Sinai that second time with the commandments, he didn't know it, but his face was shining. It was shining so brightly that Aaron and the Israelites were afraid to come near him. Now, why was his face shining? Because he had been in God's presence, talking with him, listening to him, and learning his ways. Moses called the people to him and told them everything the Lord had said. Then he put a veil over his face. From then on, whenever Moses went into the tent of meeting to speak with God, he would take off the veil, and when he came out, the people could see the glow on his face, and they knew that Moses had been speaking with God. Then he would tell them what God had said and put the veil back on. Isn't that amazing? They could tell by looking at him that he had been with God. It kind of reminds me of what Jesus said in Matthew 5. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor does anyone light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. Jesus was telling us to shine too, but how? He doesn't expect our faces to shine like Moses. Moses was transformed by spending time with God, and we can be too. The more we know him and talk with him and walk with him, the more our lives will reflect him. People will notice that there's something special about you. They might see it in your joyful face, in your kind words, in your helpful attitude, or your loving actions. Shining your light means showing God's love wherever you go. Let's think about some ways you can do that. Be respectful and kind to everyone, even people who are hard to get along with. Jesus said to love your enemies. That kind of love shines bright. Be friendly, especially to someone who really needs a friend. Encourage others. One night in my Bible class, an 8-year-old boy led a song and said, "This will be a good one to sing when we study Revelation. After the shadows, there will be sunshine. After all, that's what it's all about. And we will walk in the sunlight, S-O-N, light." Even then, he was shining his light with words of encouragement. Now he's 20 and still shining his bright light in many ways. But if he hadn't started young, it might have been harder for him to do later. That's why now is the perfect time to start shining your light. Look for ways to help others. Always keep your promises. That shows people you're trustworthy, and it points them to the God you serve who is always trustworthy. Let's pause for a moment and think together. Have you ever seen someone who really shines, not because they're loud and showy, but because they're kind and joyful? What does it look like to shine at school, on the playground, or at home? What are your ways to shine for Jesus? Here's an example to get you started. A couple of kids were nervous about praying at school, but they did it anyway, and their friends noticed. Then they came and sat with them and asked them about it, and it started a conversation about why they pray. Now, let's look at one more way with our object lesson. A mirror doesn't make its own light, does it? It just reflects what's shining on it. Get my light to shine on it here. There. Okay, that got it? Okay. We don't shine by ourselves, but when we stay close to God, like this light is, we reflect God's light, just like Moses did. But if the mirror gets far away, it stops reflecting. So if you want to shine brightly, you have to stay close to God. Am I there? Okay. And we do that by praying and reading our Bible and looking for ways to love others every day. You see, when you do good things, you're not doing them so people will say, "Wow, look how she's shining." You're doing them so that you are reflecting God's light, and His light is shining through you, and His love is shining through you. So this week, look for ways to shine your light, and that's what our memory verse is about this week. It's Matthew 5:16. And it's, "Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." So it's to the tune of "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star." Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. Try it again. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. One more time, nice and loud with me. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. Matthew 5:16. The Bible verses we used today were Exodus 34, verses 1 through 4, and verses 27 through 35, and Matthew 5:14 through 16. Next week, we have another special request from one of our young viewers, the Good Samaritan. And don't forget to make your own Bible time every day.